Some old lady walks up to him and walks up to the baby and is like, oh, what's her name? Like, blah, 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 this. She's so cute. And he's like, the dad was like, did you just call my son a girl because he's wearing pink? And he was like, well, it's your fault for dressing him in pink. Everyone's going to think he's a girl. Like, she got really crappy with him. And she was like, he said, if I can wear pink, my son can wear pink.
Where you are using that lens to make judgment, and that is part of the culture.
Multicultural education is a course that came into existence in the early 1970s, and it was designed to prepare pre-service teachers to become competent in cross-cultural issues so that they can be able to address cultural diversity in their classroom. And the original focus was on race, ethnicity, and gender, and then subsequently disabilities and sexual orientations and other different forms of diversity have also been added into the curriculum. So the core objectives is to make sure that we are preparing pre-service teachers to become sensitive and culturally competent in dealing with students from diverse backgrounds.
We have a lot of problems with people not thinking critically but not really caring enough, and that's kind of the baseline, is that people get out in teaching and they burn themselves out because they either didn't really want to get into teaching in the first place, or they didn't have the skills to be able to cope with all the kind of stuff that gets thrown at us. I know the Ross Community Center is a really great way for us to have that kind of experience before we're out in the field, because most likely that we won't have kids to this extreme all at once. Some of us will, but I think it's a great experience to kind of understand that kind of pressure intensive and being able to be level-headed, because it's very easy to have kids kind of get at you and you start freaking out and then make bad decisions about how to teach them. So I think that's very, very vital for our class, and I think especially talking about diversity with kind of, I mean, I would say right now we're kind of in the peak of just all these kind of different things happening all at once and having so many different people. I think we've always had differences between one another, but we didn't really get to the point of accepting them until kind of recently. And we still have problems accepting people for who they are, but I think it's right now, it's so out there that we have to talk about these things. If we don't understand them, then we're not going to be able to help these students that are going through these things. And I think for me, being able to, like I said earlier, discuss with other people about things I'm not familiar with, but also things that I am very familiar with, because my hope is that the people around me have the desire and passion that I do, because I think it's only going to help us get better, and I like trying to basically get everyone on the same page. As much as it's not my role as a student, I think it's kind of my duty to do that, is kind of check. I mean, we have to check each other, because I think we should be able to openly say, like, no, that's just not, it's not what we need for the students. It's not necessarily we're attacking someone's beliefs. We're just trying to think, right now we're trying to help the student out, and if your beliefs kind of hinder that, that's kind of what we have to see, and we kind of have to put those to the door just to help the kids out. I mean, and that's the hardest thing to do, and kind of this class really helps us understand that we have to do that to progress forward as a profession and for our students.
The Ross Center is a community center on the south side of Muncie. We're on 10th Street, and we work with people of all ages. Our mission is to build community through our programs, services, and activities to create a safe haven for all and spaces for learning, fun, and growth. So historically, I mean, many years ago, much before my time, but through multicultural education, I think there were times when some of the students from multicultural education used to come here to the Ross Center. Then they stopped because we just didn't have, we were in such disrepair, and so they didn't come back until I came in last year, And I know Dr. DeManu. So Dr. DeManu was in his second semester, I believe, last spring. And so I had spoken with him. And I said, well, you know, we're starting up our programs again. And if you'd like to send some of your volunteers over, you know, your students from EDMU 205. And so that's how they started coming. Now, what they do when they come here is that they work with the kids holistically. One of the things that they do, I mean, they play with the kids, but they also do one-on-one tutoring with them. They help them with their homework, and then they help them with activities, create science experiments, help them with their reading, go outside. I mean, one thing I always motivate them to do is think outside of, I hate that word, outside the box, but think beyond the boundaries of school. You know, how can you work with the kids on reviving their curiosity? Outside, playing. How do you learn biology? How do you learn, you know, math on the patio, looking at the sun, you know, and looking at the angles of the sun, playing hopscotch, you know, sitting down under the trees, reading a book. So that's what they do a lot too, you know. That is really the objective of the multicultural education kids to come here.
For me, that experience is kind of just an extension of what I love about the course and just working with people that are not as privileged as I am. And it makes me feel really purposeful that I can help people that are struggling at a level that I don't think I ever will be at. And it brings me hope that the problems that I have, I can figure out, but it also gives me a way to help other people out. And especially these are kids 10 and under that are either come from broken homes or way below the poverty line, have had some trauma in their past, or even recently, I mean, because they're so young. Just trying to help them to look at things differently, maybe be more engaged with school. That's kind of the big purpose of the center with the people that we work with, is to make sure that they're doing their homework and kind of having like an extension beyond school that's kind of helping them out, because really their home life is not beneficial to them. So I think for me, it's just been such a great opportunity to not only look to the future with places that I could do outside of Ball State, because I don't plan on being in the vicinity of Muncie forever, but knowing that I probably will have students in similar boats to them, and I will probably find out the day of when I start teaching them, and I have to try to figure out what I can do for them to not only make them successful, but also happy, because that's the most difficult part about these kids, is that they really have so much baggage that it's hard for them to have positivity because they just don't get it. So I feel really obligated to do it. As much as it's a requirement, it does help me kind of get out there and find somewhere, but I mean, if I was able to, I mean, I would be there constantly, because I just know that they need that kind of experience.